Hey there, AmyK here, and as you can see by the background, I'm on the road again. The fabulous decor gave it away. It also means that I'm doing what I love. And this morning, it reminded me of a story that I used to tell all the time when I gave keynotes years ago, and I just sort of dropped that story along the way. But being back on the road again has reminded me, and it's such a fun story, and it's got such a great lesson that I just thought I would share it with the She Gets It community. This is not my story. This is Vivian Cox's story. I read this in a newspaper years ago, and I so resonated with it that I'm going to share it again with you all today. So, a woman who travels, like I do, who lives on the road, she arrives at the airport the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. And of course, as we can all relate, where do you want to be the night before Thanksgiving? You want to be home. But her flight is delayed and she starts to get agitated. She starts to get all worked up. And then she's like, girl, check yourself before you wreck yourself. So she goes and buys a cup of coffee and a bag of cookies and she sits at the gate and waits. And over the course of time, she's eaten cookies out of her cookie bag one after another when she realizes that this stranger is taking cookies out of her cookie bag too. She can't believe it. She's like, the audacity of this stranger to like be eating her cookies. So she's watching him out of the corner of her eye. He's matching her cookie for cookie. They get down to the bottom of the bag. He holds up the final cookie and mom's like, hey, you want to share it? And she's like, oh my God, for crying out loud, yes, I would like to share the last cookie in my cookie bag. And she kind of snatches it pissily. And she's like, no. And finally, her flight is called. As she boards, she goes to put her bag in the overhead bin. And as she's shoving it in, her cookie bag falls out. Filled with grief and too late to apologize. She realizes that she is the rude one. She's the cookie thief. And I love this story because it gives us such a great lesson, especially with all that's going on right now. Just because you're sure doesn't mean you're right. And I'm going to say that again. Just because you're sure doesn't mean you're right. So stay open, keep an open heart, keep an open mind, keep an open spirit as you go out to communicate, to connect with all those that you interact with around the world. From my heart to yours, hugs.